Welcome to Spanning Tree, a configuration adventure. This guide gives you information about Spanning Tree Protocol. Spanning Tree Protocol and the states of its interfaces. Spanning Tree interface states, propagation delays can occur when protocol information passes through a switched LAN. As a result, topology changes can take place at different times and at different places in a switched network. When an interface transitions directly from non-participation in the spanning tree topology to the forwarding state, it can create temporary data loops. Interfaces must wait for new topology information to propagate through the switched LAN before starting to forward frames. They must allow the frame lifetime to expire for forwarded frames that have used the old topology. Each Layer 2 interface on a device using spanning tree exists in one of these states. Blocking, the interface does not participate in frame forwarding. Listening, the first transitional state after the blocking state when the spanning tree decides that the interface should participate in frame forwarding. Learning, the interface prepares to participate in frame forwarding. Forwarding, the interface forwards frames. Disabled, the interface is not participating in spanning tree because of a shutdown port, no link on the port, or no spanning tree instance running on the port. An interface moves through these states, from initialization to blocking, from blocking to listening or to disabled, from listening to learning or to disabled, from learning to forwarding or to disabled, from forwarding to disabled. When you power up the device, spanning tree is enabled by default, and every interface in the device, LAN, or network goes through the blocking state and the transitory states of listening and learning. Spanning tree stabilizes each interface at the forwarding or blocking state. When the spanning tree algorithm places a Layer 2 interface in the forwarding state, this process occurs. The interface is in the listening state while spanning tree waits for protocol information to move the interface to the blocking state. While spanning tree waits for the forward delay timer to expire, it moves the interface to the learning state and resets the forward delay timer. In the learning state, the interface continues to block frame forwarding as the device learns end station location information for the forwarding database. When the forward delay timer expires, spanning tree moves the interface to the forwarding state, where both learning and frame forwarding are enabled. Blocking state. A Layer 2 interface in the blocking state does not participate in frame forwarding. After initialization, a BPDU is sent to each device interface. A device initially functions as the root until it exchanges BPDUs with other devices. This exchange establishes which device in the network is the root or root device. If there is only one device in the network, no exchange occurs, the forward delay timer expires, and the interface moves to the listening state. An interface always enters the blocking state after device initialization. An interface in the blocking state performs these functions: discards frames received on the interface, discards frames switched from another interface for forwarding, does not learn addresses, receives BPDUs. Listening state. The listening state is the first state a Layer 2 interface enters after the blocking state. The interface enters this state when the spanning tree decides that the interface should participate in frame forwarding. An interface in the listening state performs these functions: discards frames received on the interface, discards frames switched from another interface for forwarding, does not learn addresses, receives BPDUs. Learning state. A Layer 2 interface in the learning state prepares to participate in frame forwarding. The interface enters the learning state from the listening state. An interface in the learning state performs these functions: discards frames received on the interface, discards frames switched from another interface for forwarding, learns addresses, receives BPDUs. Forwarding state. A Layer 2 interface in the forwarding state forwards frames. The interface enters the forwarding state from the learning state. An interface in the forwarding state performs these functions: receives and forwards frames received on the interface, forwards frames switched from another interface, learns addresses, receives BPD use. Disabled state. A layer 2 interface in the disabled state does not participate in frame forwarding or in the spanning tree. An interface in the disabled state is non-operational. A disabled interface performs these functions: discards frames received on the interface, discards frames switched from another interface for forwarding, does not learn addresses, does not receive BPD use. This marks the end of Part 2.